Good to see you, everyone. Christ is risen. He's risen indeed. Alleluia. What types of activities have your kids been up to over these past several weeks, other than schoolwork, or when it's not snowing outside? My kids have played dress up every now and again, and depending on the age of your kids, they might not do that anymore. But it's always kind of neat and cute to see what kids decide to dress up in, how they pretend, and that's exactly what dress up is. You pretend to be something that you're not really. You dress up like a police officer or a princess. Anna and Elsa have visited our house a lot, but they look an awful lot like my daughters. Have you ever played dress up? Do you remember it way back when you were a kid? Believe it or not, we're still playing dress up. We're still trying to pretend to be something that we're not. Now, you can look at this one of two ways. The first of which, we do a pretty good job trying to put on a mask or a facade of what we really aren't. We have it all together. We're not stressed out. We're positive. We're joyful. When inside, we're frightened. We're scared. We're insecure. But we dress up like we're not. And we're not honest with ourselves. And we're not honest with those around us. But God actually encourages us to dress up in a different way. Check this out from Ephesians chapter 6. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Put on the full armor of God, which means, guess what? You're playing dress up. A friend of mine shared this story with me, so Joel Howard, credit goes out to you for this. When he was in college, he had a professor who they knew was a biker. And so one day, he came into the class and had his full getup, leather jacket, leather chaps, helmet on, visor down, and started walking around like class is normal. And he stood there for a really long time. And then all of a sudden, he lifted the visor, and it wasn't him. It was another student from the class. And what the professor did was to demonstrate how the armor of God works. Everyone assumed it was that professor because that's who he is. He's a motorcycle enthusiast, and he has all that stuff, and everybody knew he did. Everyone who'd seen him. The armor of God, when you put that on, Satan doesn't see you. He sees God because it's his armor. And so even though you might be feeling insecure or worried or tempted, guess what? God encourages you to put his armor on so that you can be honest about who you are, and he still protects you. Whatever the temptation is, whatever the struggle happens to be. And here's the unique thing about dress up. The more and more children pretend those things, sometimes we actually become them. We actually become police officers. We become moms. We become dads. And so when we learn to wear the armor of God, we begin and grow in our belief that his righteousness, his word, his truth, his faithfulness, they really are our guard and protection. My challenge and action step for you today is this. Identify one piece. So go ahead and read through Ephesians 6 all the way through verse 19 of the armor of God. Identify the piece that you need. Salvation, righteousness, whatever it might be. Pick that out, and then over dinner tonight, share that with your family, saying, here's how God's encouraging me to dress up. We'll see you next time.